What's going on, YouTube? This is Open Tech Innovations coming to you with part 3 of the full slider using HTML and CSS. And I promise I won't take too much more of your time on this. I realize this has been can be close to an hour for doing this, and I promise to make my videos a little bit shorter, but also very detailed, so that way you learn something from it moving forward. Alright, the next thing that we're going to do, or the last thing I should say, is we're going to create markup in the CSS file that will display our images in addition to transitioning the images and also the headings when you select one of the labels, or I should say a target. So what we'll do is, let me see here. Alright, so in the slide, what we want to do is we want to call out brackets, call the ID, and special little character, and then we're going to call out slide, and then we're going to use the check pseudo class checked plus class of slide, and then we'll open up our curly braces, and then we're going to left 0, we're going to z index 100, and then we're going to transition left at 0.65 seconds, and we'll ease out the transition. So basically what's going to happen is every time you select each label, one image will slide in and the other one will slide out, and so it'll kind of ease out. Next thing you got to do is use the ampersand H1, and then we're going to follow with an opacity of 1, a transform, and we'll translate the y-axis at 0, and then we'll give it a transition of all 0.5 seconds. Oops, 0.5. Now, I would explain to you what all of this is doing, but again, this tutorial is primarily just for creating this full slider, full web page slider. So we'll leave it at that. So if I save my document and refresh my browser, you'll notice that the heading is now showing. If I select a tab, another one will slide in, another one will slide in, and so forth. So that's exactly what we're wanting to do. The next thing we have to do is we need to call out those images. So here we're going to call out each item, and we're going to say and comma item 2 or item 1 underscore 1, and we're going to give that a background image because that's what we're using, and we're going to call it the URL, and we're going to have to back out of the directory. So we'll do .. slash, and that'll pull us out of the CSS, or I'm sorry, it'll pull me out of the SCSS directory, pull me out into the assets area, so that way I can locate the images. The first one I'm going to grab is the balance, and then what I'll do is take and copy and paste 3 more times, and then of course rename each item corresponds to its number. So in this case, item 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we'll change the image to the next one in its list. And save the document. And we will refresh. And what do you know? We have the images now present. So if I select slide 2, the transition occurs. Slide 3, transition occurs. Slide 4, transition occurs. Now you can also see that there is some responsiveness to that image along with the heading. So as the document moves smaller, so too does the heading. And that's kind of what we want. So it's large and then small. Like 2, 3, 4, 1. Everything works just fine. Now, as I said before, this tutorial was done in SCSS as far as the styling is concerned. So for those of you that probably did this in CSS, I apologize if you're not getting the same look that I've gotten. And again, that's because I've used CSS, and I used it for a reason, because where I learned this tutorial from, which was Team Treehouse, they used SCSS to do this. So that's kind of why, that's kind of where I'm at. Now, initially there was a breakpoint that I would create, or a mix-in, I would say, I would create for this. And what that will do is transition the heading to be large and on smaller devices as well, but be relative to that device size. And so I'm going to pass on that again, because at the moment it's really not necessary. The whole point of this tutorial is to create a full slider using HTML and CSS, and it spanned the entire width and viewport of the window. So no matter how large the window is, that image will expand to that size. Now these images, if you haven't already seen, are set to I'm going to bring this over here so you can show the properties. So the detail of each image is 1920 by 1080. So that means the image will expand to that size, or I should say it's that particular size. And initially 2 of these images weren't that size, so I used Photoshop and created a template and made sure all these sizes were the exact same for this tutorial. Excuse me. So that will complete the tutorial for this CSS slider using HTML as well. And you can customize it however you want. You can call these different, call it home, contact, about us, services, if you decide to use it on a website. And actually in future tutorials, I will build a website specifically using this slider. And we'll probably modify it a little bit. And what I mean by that is, as you can see from a responsive standpoint, in this case, this slide 4 is falling below, and so it doesn't look right stacked. So we'll probably use Flexbox to fix that issue. And we might even add a slide out menu, in fact, to this. So I'm not sure. I'll figure it out, and the next videos will be a lot smoother and be more informational. It won't be so boring, and I apologize if that's the case. But this is my first round, and so I really hope that you enjoyed this. I also want to make mention to a follow YouTube friend of mine who I've known for many years. His name is Jujitsu 2000. Some of you that are probably watching this have seen him before. And I have to say his channel is amazing because he provides a lot of content and a lot of videos for do-it-yourself. He talks about a lot of military stuff, a lot of survival tactics. He also does a really good job of acknowledging his subscribers to the best of his time, because he's a busy guy. And so he's taking the time to help me in terms of not only being a subscriber, but commenting on my videos. And I want to thank him very much for that. And in fact, I want to let y'all know that he is about to begin a 45,000 subscribe giveaway. And so look forward to that if you decide to check out his channel, which I will provide a link in the description box to both his channels. He has a Jiu-Jitsu 2000 and a Jiu-Jitsu 2000 Unfiltered channel, and both channels have amazing content. He's a very good person, and as I said before, he provides a lot of good content and a lot of good stuff that that you could purchase online and use out in the woods or just everyday life. So if you've watched the end of this video, please take a look at the description box below. You'll find a link to his channel, both his channels, and feel free to leave a comment in the description box below, in addition to subscribing to my channel, and thumb up. And you have a blessed day. Thank you very much for watching. Please look forward to my upcoming tutorial where I talk about using a tool called Review, and I'll explain that a little bit later on. But I hope you enjoyed this. Again, feel free to customize your slider the way that you like. If you have any questions, as I said before, please give me a comment, send me an email, and we'll go from there. So I look forward to seeing you in our upcoming tutorials. Thank you.